Hello, everyone, once again. This is Rob, and welcome back to Media Awareness and some actual music news. Before I go any further, however, I'd like to ask you all for a favor. I'm currently doing a fundraiser to attempt to get enough funds to replace my wheelchair scooter seat. As many of you know, I am a disabled individual and I use a wheelchair slash scooter essentially from morning to night, with the exception of when I use the restroom and when I sleep. Uh, but it's my main means of transportation and of being able to be independent in my life. And at the current time, that is actually being affected by the state of this broken seat that I'm currently using. Hence the fundraiser to raise enough funds to purchase a steel frame seat as opposed to the plastic seat I'm currently using. You'll find a link below to the fundraiser video and the actual fundraiser link. Please be so kind as to check it out. And if you can, donate. If you're not able to donate, please share the video. Any and all help is definitely appreciated. So, music news. This is new. Uh, the Beatles are going to be releasing a new track. And they're going to be using the artificial intelligence technology to help them do so. Now, I've been doing my artificial intelligence reaction series, and I've actually done John Lennon and the Beatles, actually, um, albeit really not the Beatles in that particular case. But that's okay. I've done some reactions using John Lennon and the Beatles, and as far as the AI generated versions of them. Now, the way this differs, this project that's currently going on, is that uh, basically Sir Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr, I'm assuming, are going to be utilizing AI to isolate John Lennon's unused vocals and build a song around that, which is not something that's entirely new to the Beatles. This is something that a lot of people forget, but the Beatles had done this back in the 90s with the anthology series. And they actually yielded a hit single with that, a song called Free as a Bird, which really not enough people listen to or even know exists. If you are interested, I'm going to leave a link to Free as a Bird below, along with the other track that even more people forget exists, and that's called Real Love, which is another track that was on the anthology and was something that was built around a existing vocal of John Lennon. The Lennon vocals were cleaned up, obviously using the technology available at the time in the 90s, but it wasn't nearly as superior as it is today. So I'm gathering that this new track is going to sound 1,000 times better than Free as a Bird and Real Love did sound. But I don't think we should forget that they did do this previously. And at that point in time, George Harrison was still with us. So it was three out of the four Beatles working on this project. And it was really a successful thing. I'm going to show a picture here of my Beatles collection as it is. You also see my Doors box set on the side of that, and King Crimson right below that. I couldn't exactly crop that out for some reason, but you'll see that in the picture. I am not a Beatles completist. If I was, I would have next to the black box featuring the studio albums, the UK releases, Next to that, I would probably have the mono mixes, as that is the stereo mixes and the UK versions. And I would probably have next to that the USA releases, which is a completely different box set. Um, However, although I would probably prefer the mono mixes to the stereo mixes are more authentic to the actual original recordings, so it is nice to have. Um, that being said, if you're in a restaurant and you happen to be using the bathroom and you hear a Beatles song, don't be surprised if you only hear certain pieces of the song. That's because they're playing the stereo mix, not the mono mix. Just as an FYI. But getting back to the topic at hand, uh, they're using this technology to isolate John Lennon's vocals once again on another unused track and work around that, build around that to build a new, brand new song. Which I'm not opposed to that. I don't feel that that is, uh, how should I put this? I don't feel that is defacing John Lennon's memory. I don't feel that is necessarily sacrilegious to do so. For me, it, it AI generated stuff crosses the line when people want to hear how a certain individual, like John Lennon, let's say for example, is going to sound singing Oasis or Radiohead, as I've covered Oasis. Um, and it sounded decent, but it's not John Lennon. And yes, it's a convincing AI generated vocal to some degree, but it's also sacrilegious in a lot of ways because you're not having that person's consent or their family's consent to do so. I know it's just to kind of show what it's capable of and to give people an idea of how this individual or that individual would sound singing a particular song or a particular band. But I don't feel that uh, deceased individuals should be necessarily resurrected by AI for our amusement as far as hearing how they would sound singing other people's songs. With the Beatles doing this, I think it's more of in honor of Lennon's memory, and they're not using it to record something that isn't John Lennon. It is Lennon's vocals. It is going to be cleaned up by AI, isolated by AI, and it is going to be a brand new song, which I think is pretty cool. And it's a lot like what they did, like I said, on the anthology series with Free as a Bird and Real Love back in the 90s. So if you haven't checked those out, those are available on Spotify to stream. Like I said, I'll try and link the videos of Free as a Bird and Real Love below my video here, along with my fundraiser for the new wheelchair seat. But I wanted to bring this to people's attention because this is something that's going to be a topic because of AI being used. Now, just for those of you who aren't aware, on the most recent Beatles reissue of Revolver, AI was used to uh, basically help remix the album, and they were able to isolate individual tracks with AI and uh, create an entirely different mix from the original mix. A much more cohesive piece of music, in my humble opinion. And it was really something that was born out of Peter Jackson's involvement with the Get Back project on Disney Plus, having used AI to clean up the vocals on that particular series, and that is a phenomenal series. If you haven't watched, get back on the Disney Plus channel streaming. Please do so. It is phenomenal, and everything sounds amazing, and you'll get to see really an insight into the Beatles themselves. Um, I should also point out that when it comes to the Beatles themselves, if you have either the stereo or mono mix box sets, or even the USA releases, be sure to also add Let It Be Naked to your collection. It's a variant on Let It Be, and it is more of what McCartney and Harrison and Ringo Starr saw as being the album itself. Um, and they weren't exactly given a lot of say into the finished product, as it was outsourced to Phil Spector to produce in the late 60s, early 70s. Um, so once that was all said and done, years later we got Let It Be Naked, which is more of a proper presentation of the way the album was meant to sound, according to what Paul has said in the past. Sure, Paul, I'm sorry about that. But nevertheless, that sits next to my Beatles collection, along with the anthologies, Volume 1, 2, and 3, the Beatles singles collections, the red and blue boxes, and of course some solo material, John Lennon's box set, and some miscellaneous George Harrison and Paul McCartney albums. But as I said, I really don't feel like this is a sacrilegious thing. I think that this is a good thing for music fans, and I think that if more bands do this, and if more bands are able to actually, it's 5 p.m. Just so you know, if more bands are able to do this type of thing using artificial intelligence to isolate unused vocals to give us perhaps something that was envisioned but was never brought to fruition because of the band breaking up or a member passing away or whatever, I think that'd be wonderful. I think it really would. It would definitely honor their memory. So tell me what you think about this new Beatles thing, and tell me if you have heard the Free as a Bird track and Real Love tracks. And if you haven't, like I said, I'm going to try and link them below. And if you can check them out, please do so. You will not be sorry. They are great songs. I love Real Love, and I forgot how much I did until recently. But let me know your thoughts below in the comments, and if you can contribute to the fundraiser for my wheelchair seat, please uh, do so, and please, if you cannot, at least share the video and make people aware that this is a cause that I'm currently trying to fulfill. My insurance will not cover this, so I'm just on my own with this. I've had a lot of generous people donate thus far, and I'm well on my way to accomplishing this, but I need your help to do so. I'd like to thank some friends of mine, SueSue and the Wolfman, for featuring this on their channel. I really appreciate them both. They're wonderful people. Ramsey Reacts, and of course, my good friend Amy Goodson, who is a wonderful woman, amazing, enchanting, and she has really been spearheading this cause and trying to get the word out to as many people as possible. So I thank you, Amy, and thank you for everyone who have already donated. I appreciate you guys more than you know, and I will hopefully see you all again soon. Have a wonderful morning, noon, or night wherever you are. Take care. Bye.